we house youth or young adults who have aged out of the foster care program. And with the funding kind of being mucked up right now in Washington, there weren't any new vouchers really in Nashville since the new administration took over. There's been a complete moratorium on new vouchers. And so we went out and found a voucher called FYI, which is a Foster Youth Independence voucher that was put in place in the first Trump administration, but had never been used in Davidson County. We applied for it in connection with MDHA and HUD. It took a long time, but we were finally notified of the award about 3 weeks ago, and the funding came through last week. Wow. So that allows us to house at least 50 youths who have aged out of the foster care program, and it's just great to kind of see what that come together.
Welcome to The Decision from Nashville EO, where you will hear the rest of the story after tough decisions were made by entrepreneurs who faced adversity and lived to tell about it.
Welcome to The Decision, the podcast by and for EO Nashville, where we talk to entrepreneurs, EO Nashville members, as they start, grow, scale, sell, manage, all the things that we do in the life of our business. My name is Eric Jackson. And with me, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. Robert Hartline.
Good to be here.
Good to be here with you.
Yes.
And today is a good day.
Yes, it is a good day.
Because for many reasons.
Yes.
But today we met for the first time a new EO member, Adam Rosenberg.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for being here.
Exciting.
Yeah. So let's start off by tell us about how you found EO.
I'd heard about EO before moving to Nashville. And as my business began to get to a point where there were some challenges and experiences that I basically, at the end of the day, I just didn't want to fuck up. So I was trying to find a resource of people that were in or have been in similar situations, and that brain trust being available to me. And I just heard so many good stories about EO and the people in it, and wanted to join.
So who was the first person that did somebody recommend it, or did you just seek us out?
No, I saw you out. Yeah, actually, yeah. I can't remember exactly who I got connected to here first. Could have been Samira. But just happy to be here now.
Good. Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the business that you're in that caused you this angst.
Well, I find it, it's not angst.
Okay.
It's, I love the challenge that we face every day. I call us, me and my business partner, firefighters. Because when you wake up in the morning and you never know what fire is going to need to be put out that day. And it's been interesting to see how large the fire needs to get to really kind of bother us or get really to us or be more challenging to us. AGB Real Estate is an affordable housing, workforce housing developer based here in Nashville. But we have projects really across the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic. I met my business partner, Ryan, in fifth grade. We're both, I was born and raised in the Washington, D.C. area and went to 5th through 12th grade with him. Stayed friends. And I always knew what he was doing. One of the smartest kids in my class, taking math that, at 8th grade that I never even got to. And he got into affordable housing about 10 or 15 years ago. And I had just finished a project here in Nashville and thought to bring him in. And that project was converting our first project here in Nashville, converting dilapidated, rundown, drug-infested motel to beautiful workforce apartments. And the thesis behind that is that in cities like Nashville that have grown substantially over the past several years, the working class is getting pushed further and further outside the core of the city. So they need to and want to be close to their jobs and not drive 45 minutes away, but find really nice housing as well. So that project was our first. It was 108 rooms. And we completed that project in just under 12 months. And it's a complete gut renovation. For those real estate girls and gals out there, we had to do basically, if you think about, I don't know the last time you've been in a motel room, but they're about 280 square feet. And they have a sink outside the bathroom, a bathroom, and a bedroom. That's really it. So we put in a full kitchen with stainless steel appliances, an oven, microwave, convection microwave, refrigerator, sink on the kind of wall that is on the back. The backside would be the bathroom, and then a completely new bathroom. And that takes a lot of plumbing, electrical, and very proud of that product. And so when that was done, I had heard about Mayor Cooper's $50 million housing initiative. I had never done affordable housing before, really didn't know anything about it. So reached out through the council member who in the district I did this project with, and was connected with MDHA and understood the need here in Nashville for truly affordable housing. So that's voucher supported. So that's Section 8, domestic violence support. There's a whole host of vouchers that our tenants have utilized since then. And asked Ryan if he was interested in, joining forces, taking some of his peanut butter and my chocolate and combining something really great.
How did you know you wanted to be in business with him?
It's a good question.
It's always a risk to bring in a friend, right?
Yeah. I think initially, I just wanted to get his take on it, his perspective of what affordable housing was, what it took to stand up, the challenges behind it. And through that process, we were iterating and talking about, he was answering the questions really well. And the more and more we got into it over the weeks and we found an actual building that we were going to acquire, the working relationship was there. So, we played lacrosse together. We had a lot in common. His son is really good friends with my nephew. So there's a lot of commonalities there. And to your point, it is risky to get into business with friends. But I guess we just got lucky, and we have very, very similar communication styles, very similar reactive styles. We both have our strengths and challenges, but we really balance each other out. And it's been a fantastic experience, and could be more thankful for that partnership.
Acquiring the property's got to be is that the hardest piece of the puzzle, is finding a property that someone's willing to sell?
I would say it's hard, especially in today's high interest rate environment where sellers really haven't readjusted their expectations. The hardest part is really when you've acquired it, you've redeveloped it or renovated it, and then you're housing this population. So we have two pillars at AGB. Workforce housing, which is market. So it's your Uber drivers, your teachers, your warehouse workers, people who work at the airport, people who work servers, bartenders, all that. So a very, normal population in terms of the multifamily apartment world. And then the other pillar is affordable housing. And that's capital A, affordable. So what that means is that and we do low barrier. So these could be people who are removed from an encampment, or are in the throes of a mental health challenge or addiction struggles. And so that's who we're dealing with on a day in, day out basis. And our team that we've assembled is fantastic. But it is a very challenging, but very rewarding.
You're required to have a percentage of those types of people in your property. Right? Is that how that works?
We are required to have a percentage because we've been lucky enough to win some grants and some awards. But we far exceed the bare minimum that we have to house. So, for instance, at Wallace Studios, 132 units, at least 100 or 105 of those are housing low barrier folks. We're really only required to have 20.
And they can stay there as long as their income is below a certain level.
Right. So the way the voucher system works is, like I said, there's a lot of different vouchers. But some of them are income based and some of them are disability based. Every tenant is required to pay something. The most they can pay is 30% of their income. So if they make $1,000 a month, the most they can contribute is $300. A lot of our tenants contribute a minimum of $50. and some are
They got a
self-paced.
sweet place to stay.
You got a great place to stay with. I really do think that we go above and beyond. We create partnerships with other organizations in Nashville, like the store, which is Brad Paisley's nonprofit, so that they go there and they can shop for free. It's a great organization. Neighborhood Health. So Neighborhood Health comes to our assets once every 2 weeks to receive on-site healthcare, and if they need something more in depth, there's a clinic just a mile away from both properties. We found a private benefactor to buy annual bus passes for our tenants. That's $4 a day as a bus pass here in Nashville. And for some of our tenants, it's deciding whether or not to eat that day or to take the bus to doctor's appointment or to get an ID or to get food, whatever it is. So we try and think of ways that we can alleviate what to us, most of us, are molehills. And to them, it's really mountains. And they have so many of these in their lives that we really want to help them know that we're there to support them. We help them get food stamps. We help them fill out paperwork, all this different stuff that our team does to really show them that we care about them and that we really have their best interests in mind.
Talk a little bit about we were talking about the NIMBY speed bump earlier. Talk a little bit about how that works in Nashville.
So, I mean, it's affordable housing. So attainable housing is the words kind of all jumbled together, but you have attainable housing, which is workforce housing that, is market rate, that anyone who is working or just market rate, let's call it, where it's not $1,500 or $1,600 or $1,700 in Nashville for a one bedroom. To make it attainable, to make it something that the everyday Joe and Jane can afford is very difficult to do. To inspire developers like me who want to do the right thing, if you just, it's just math, right? So how much is a piece of property or a dilapidated asset downtown? How much is it going to cost to renovate? And then what can you charge for rents just to be able to make a measly profit? And that's where the math begins to really fall apart, is because the cost of land or a building in Nashville is elevated because of the growth and because of the success that the city has experienced over the past decade or so. And then the rents that you need to service the debt and pay all the staff and the utilities and all that stuff, it just becomes very difficult. And so the NIMBYism comes in to when there maybe is a project that is viable, and it may be voucher supported, it may not be. Some neighborhoods are uncomfortable with that demographic moving in.
Yeah. So everybody wants the services that these people provide. They just don't want them living next door.
I can't speak for them, but it's really, it's that we want this in our city.
Yeah.
Just do it. If you can, please do it over there. Right. Or not making the necessary adjustments. Maybe it's having an additional bus line, bus stop, so that people can get more easily to and from their jobs.
Yeah.
But it's a very complicated, the solution is very, very complicated. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different opinions and interests at hand.
I know the city's been talking about this for a really long time. It goes back to Mayor Cooper and probably before him.
Yeah.
So what does it look like today, and what do you see the future being for the work that you're doing? Is that something that's going to have pretty good legs?
I think that's what we're grappling with right now. We have a very good relationship with MDHA and the Office of Homeless Services because we house so many of their folks. And with the current administration, a lot of funding has been cut. So it's a little bit up in the air, kind of how much federal dollars are going to be available that have been available for decades.
Yeah.
Is going to be there next year. So I think the city is really doing its best, and we'll see what the new budget, which comes out in a month or so, will entail. But for me, it comes down to 3 pillars that I'm really trying when I have conversations with the council people and with other organizations. It's really 3 things that I think can really make a difference. I guess the overarching thing before I get to those pillars is a public private partnership with a developer like me. It doesn't have to be me, but I think we do a great job. So I'd like it to be with us. But we did our first motel conversion in under 12 months. That was 108 units. We did our second one in 9 months. That was 132 units. And we did our third one in 5 months. So we brought on over 350 units to Nashville really in about 18 months. And that's very fast. That's from acquisition, redevelopment, having people living in those units. So there's a velocity there that can really change things in the city with developers like me. And again, there can be other developers too. But at those properties, the three pillars are, obviously it's the housing. You can call it housing first. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Second thing is on-site case management. So not everyone that lives at our properties or other properties around the county have, not everyone who lives there has a mental health challenge or going through an addiction, but there are a lot of people going through that. And the nonprofits that those tenants, so the nonprofit is a service provider, they have a case manager. The tenant is called a client. So that's what they call that individual. The case managers are stretched really thin, and the federal dollars have been removed. So a lot of organizations are collapsing under that weight of not having funds. So the tenant, when they call or text or reach out to the case manager, and that text or phone call isn't answered, and they're in the throes of something, that trust is broken. And then it now falls to us, the property manager or the owner in this case, to help that individual. And we're not equipped to do that. Right. So it begins to kind of fail that person. And then all the molehills begin to mount up. And then you've got a huge mountain for this person to crawl to get back up to where they were or beyond. So that's the second pillar, is having on-site case management that is there dedicated to the tenants that need it, that can be immediately available to them. The third thing is purpose. So that can be a job, that can be a job training, that can be volunteering, that can be learning a new language, it can be learning a new skill online, it can be whatever for that person matters. But without that third pillar, it's really difficult to have meaningful change and upward mobility, which is what everyone wants. A lot of people at my properties, they want jobs, but they had the misfortune of not having job training in the past, or maybe they have a record. And so they don't maybe know how to answer questions, interview questions in the best way, or what not to say in an interview, right? And those skills that we've been so lucky to accumulate over our lives really need to be transferred to them as well. And so for those three things to come together in concert, to work with developers like me or other developers, really is the solution that I believe will make meaningful change for affordable housing in Nashville. And we can be that shining beacon on the hill as an example for other cities.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that work. I mean, I know that it's making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's something that this city has talked about and is obviously actively pursuing. So,
well, you're also
congrats.
serving other entrepreneurs that have businesses that need people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredibly hard to find qualified applicants in Nashville. Like when I had stores in multiple states, for me to get someone in Murfreesboro, easy.
Yep.
Lebanon, Dixon, not a problem. Nashville,
downtown,
totally different game.
Yeah.
Because the access to affordable housing just does not exist.
Yeah.
And the ones that can make it work, they have roommates. Essentially, that's the only way they can make it work.
Yeah.
They have multiple people living in a house, and they can do it. But other than that, it's far easier in the outskirts.
What's a housing and transportation issue? You can get them closer to work.
That's
That
right.
makes the other part
go
away.
And the
to some
turnover is so much less.
Yeah.
When they, I could almost put money on an applicant by just putting a calculation between home address and their store address they had to go to.
That's very interesting.
And there's a direct correlation. The longer drive, the less tenure every day, all day long.
Yeah. Especially in Nashville with the traffic, right? I think traffic in Nashville isn't really that bad except if you have to drive when everyone else has to drive.
Yeah.
I try not to go anywhere between 3:30 and 5:30. Otherwise, I can get around to all my properties, all my meetings, all that stuff very, very easily, 10, 15 minutes max. Even coming out here, it wasn't that bad.
What do you think the future? I keep thinking about how housing is going to shift. Just the rise of self-driving cars is going to unlock parking lots to be available because that's going to be housing. There's no doubt I see parking lots is going to be the next housing bubble. And that's probably why all these parking companies are buying these parking lots, because they know in 10 years that it's going to be really worth something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but again, parking lots are in prime. Most parking lots that, Metropolis and those other cities are prime locations. So they're going to sell those to the highest bidder, which they should, right? Yeah. Like they invested in it, and they sat on it, and they operated it. And so like, that's a strategy that they're employing. I think there does need to, the city is doing a good job with some of the grants that they have. And, I think they need to do a better job of requiring more mixed income housing to work. So 80% AMI, really meaningful numbers. Like a 300 unit building, maybe 10, 15% have to be at 80% AMI, which is average median income, which is different in every county across the country. So that there are available units to those individuals who need to work downtown, who need to travel, very quickly and easily around the city for service.
Mm. Yeah, I know you graduated from Catalyst, and you got voted most likely to make it big. And I didn't know they even had these awards until I read this. So, So how did you win that? Like, what is that about?
I have no idea. I think my forum, got together and were nice enough to put in that vote.
Maybe you could tell us, what is Catalyst?
So Catalyst is basically a baby EO for newer or smaller companies that are looking to be able to meet the minimum threshold for EO. Real estate has a higher, an extra layer of that they have to meet. And so for me, it was a way to get to know the EO process and the EO gestalt, as we like to say, and learn about that and get involved in the community before being able to join EO.
How did it transform the way you did business?
I think it helped me think through questions that I was asking myself, and how to formulate that into one of the monthly asks, to translate that in a way that people who were in real estate or who didn't know my business very well to understand that question. So it just kind of helped me think through. Helping me think through that helped me with the solution to the problem, I think.
Would you say your vision of the business shifted from beginning to end? Like what you wanted originally out of the business versus what you want out of it now? Or is it the same vision?
One of the most challenging things, I think, for me is that real estate is a very slow moving business. To buy an asset takes months, and then you got to renovate it, and that takes months. It's not as quick as changing an ad and seeing which A/B tests better, and then pivoting depending on kind of what the responses are, or marketing to a whole new subset of customers. Real estate just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I only had a year in Catalyst. So from beginning of Catalyst to the end, we grew for sure. But it's because we stuck to like our model, which is the two pillars: affordable housing and workforce housing, and doing the blocking and tackling that is required.
You're not doing a ton of deals. I mean, you're not. Right. It's like one or two. Is as much as you could probably do, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're growing. So we've actually started our own property management arm because the company that we were using, quite frankly, was basically committing gross negligence in how they were managing our properties. So we had to really take that under our own purview. So our headcount grew substantially, And also, we've been awarded 3 grants from the city. And so those have helped us to grow as well. 2 of them are ground up, and one of them was one of the developments that we did. So we just closed on a property in Columbus, Ohio, which is a 180 unit reconversion of a motel up there that will be workforce housing. So we have a reputation in and around Nashville of when we say we're going to buy something, we enter into a contract, we close, and then we go very quickly. When we approached Office of Homeless Services about Wallace Studios, and we told them that it would be done in 12 months, I know for a fact they looked at us like we have 8 heads, and they did not believe us. And it's one of the things that we love to joke about with them, and we're very proud of that fact. And so
well, how do you do it fast?
You have a great general contractor. He is a single individual who does very good work, and has great workers. And this is our 5th asset that we're doing together, and that bond and that trust is there. And we plan well. We choose, I think, assets well. Yeah.
So is he also doing the one in Columbus?
He's doing the one in Columbus. Yeah.
How's that work? Doing things in other cities now, does that cause extra stress or problems?
Because we have that trust with the general contractor, it's not as bad as one might think.
Yeah.
I go there every week. There's a direct flight. It's a 45-minute flight. So I'm up there quite often. But we have done this multiple times now. So it's a rinse, wash, and repeat for us. You never know what you're going to find when you open up the walls, and every asset is different. This one is much bigger. It's 180 units, but beyond that, apparently this used to be like the hotspot in the 80s and 90s. And they have a restaurant area, the bar area, full kitchen. We're not using that, but we're going to renovate that to be like a co-working space, hangout space with like big screen TV and pool table and ping pong table and co-working desks and the call booths. So none of our other properties have that, and this is really saying something, a different statement, and which is why I think we would really want to spend some time on the naming and branding behind that asset.
You get a lot of satisfaction taking something old and dilapidated and make it new again. It seemed to me like neighbors would love you coming in, right?
Oh, I mean, the first one we did in Hermitage, I still have a great relationship with that council person. She couldn't have been more thankful. She couldn't have been more helpful. And I've met people randomly, out there being like, oh yeah, I drove past that every day. And I was like, it was so nice to have something done, because I mean, there were a lot of, I would say, a lot of sex act workers there. A lot of, there was an alcohol store right next to there. So there was a lot of alcohol activity. We found thousands of needles there. The owner of that property before us was not cooperative with the city and didn't really want to spend any time or money cleaning it up. So when we came in there and not only put fresh paint in there, but completely transformed the interiors of the building, and then who was living there, 100% people are very thankful. But it's to be candid, like the real satisfaction comes, when we're working on the affordable side and changing people's lives.
Yeah, I could imagine some of these people getting into a nice place
of their own. A lot of them haven't had their own brand new apartment in a long time, if ever.
Right.
One of the things that we're most proud about recently is Greenview Studios. We house youth or young adults who have aged out of the foster care program. And with the funding kind of being mucked up right now in Washington, there weren't any new vouchers really in Nashville since the new administration took over. There's been a complete moratorium on new vouchers. And so we went out and found a voucher called FYI, which is a Foster Youth Independence voucher that was put in place in the first Trump administration, but had never been used in Davidson County. We applied for it in connection with MDHA and HUD. It took a long time, but we were finally notified of the award about 3 weeks ago, and the funding came through last week.
Wow.
So that allows us to house at least 50 youths who have aged out of the foster care program, and it's just great to kind of see what that come together.
So you're graduated from Catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
most likely to be a big deal. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're in EO.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your experience transitioning into EO, and what does that look like for you?
It was really cool. I mean, I got set up to speak with a few different forums, and everyone I met was awesome. And what I, at the EO level, the companies that people have and the ideas that they were born out of necessity or experience was super interesting. And it was very difficult to choose between the forums, but ultimately I landed on one that I think, there are two other real estate individuals in that in the forum, but also for the people who are not. Yeah. And for me, it was important based on my Catalyst experience to have at least one person in there who is in real estate, because it's just a different beast. It's just slow. There's so many different considerations around it, and to have that real estate camaraderie in there, in addition to the other professionals, has been fantastic. I mean, but the whole process, I've been to 3 or 4 events thus far, and looking forward to taking advantage of all of them if I can.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks for joining us.
Can I make one request?
Sure.
Of like the listenership.
Yeah.
Can we
throw it in?
Okay. We're working with a lot of disadvantaged individuals who need clothes, who need transportation. So if anyone would like to donate to us, we are not a 501c3, but if you do have resources, connections, we're looking for people who are maybe like a transportation company that are willing to take our tenants once a week to get food, or to Walmart or something like that. Donate food or donate clothing. We are associated with a lot of 501c3s, so that can be deducted or donated. But please reach out to us at agbrealestate.co. And we would love to talk to people in the community about creating partnerships or receiving assistance from the community at large.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
If you are an entrepreneur here in Nashville, Tennessee, and you're looking to go to the next level, maybe you want to join Catalyst, build your revenue up to a point where you can be a member of EO, or maybe you're already above that $1 million mark, you may want to visit eonashville.com and learn how 350 other entrepreneurs in Nashville, the largest chapter in the United States, gather together in what we call Forum to grow, make important decisions about our lives and our businesses. Please visit eonashville.com. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thanks for listening to the Decision Podcast by Nashville EO. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.